As a homeowner, you already know your home value and equity can change dramatically. Whether you're thinking of selling or not, if you're like me, you're probably keeping your finger on the pulse of the housing market. If you're staying put, your equity can be converted into real money without selling. This is called tappable equity. Buy a car, add a bathroom, send a kid to college. Over the last couple of years, you might have easily gained enough equity to do any of those things. The last couple of years have been magical for sellers. But then I read this. Annual home price growth shifted from deceleration to decline in July of 22, as the median home price fell to 0.77% from June. That's the largest single-month decline since January 2011. This was the opening line of the Black Knight report that got my complete attention, made me sit up and lean in. Whether you're thinking of selling now or waiting to see where the market's going or staying right where you are, the market could be at an inflection point. If you're thinking of selling now, here's what we've got. I've got 3 points to make real quick, then we'll tackle the Black Knight report. Number one, if you do sell, you will be able to find a house to move into. One of the biggest fears of home sellers recently is the idea of either being homeless because their home sold in 8.5 minutes, or moving into a settled-for home because it was all that was available, or putting a life's worth of belongings into storage and renting for an ungodly amount until who knows when. Inventory is up, buyers' numbers are down, and sellers, they're much more negotiable than in years past. So, if you do sell and get a bit of a haircut, at least the next phase of moving on will be easier for you. Number two, as a seller, competition is not your friend. And though inventory is up, new listing numbers are down, and that means you're still in control. It's still a seller's market. So your home will still be in demand if, and this is a big if, you price it right for your area. Here's how you do that. Have your home move-in ready, in a little better condition than the others, and price it just a little bit less than the competition. If you do this, your home should sell first. Number three, if you've been in your home for several years, you've likely seen an equity build up enough to make you proud, especially the last couple of years. When it comes time to sell, you may not see the kind of offers over ask that you've seen recently, but big picture, you'll still be way ahead of the game. Most homeowners have gained so much equity that even if you get less than what you want, you should still do very well financially. What the report I'm getting ready to dive into is telling us is the housing market is changing quickly. Frankly, it's fallen off a cliff. So the question for all of us is, when is the best time to pull the trigger on selling? Should we sell it all? And how can we best take advantage of our newfound wealth in terms of equity? Let's define equity and tappable equity right here. So moving forward, when we talk about housing market values and equity changes, it's just a math problem and we don't have to make this more confusing than it needs to be. Equity is simply how much money you'd have left after you sold your house and paid off everything. That's your walkaway money. That's it. Tappable equity is the amount you can borrow against while maintaining a 20% equity stake in the house. For example, if you have $1 million home and you owe $600,000, that's $400,000 in equity. The tappable equity is $200,000, leaving $200,000. That's that 20% as an equity stake intact. We've been hearing how home prices are not dropping but decelerating for quite a while now, but taking into account prices have been skyrocketing the last couple of years, a slowdown in price increase or deceleration only makes sense in a cooling market. But hearing the word deceleration versus decline relative to the housing market, that's like the mayor said in the movie Jaws, the difference between hearing the word barracuda versus shark. We had the largest single month decline since January 2011. More than 42 of the 50 largest U.S. markets are off their peaks through July, with home prices down more than 1% and a third, and 10% seeing a 4% drop or more. Tappable equity hit its 10th consecutive record high in Q2 22 at $11.5 trillion, but appears to have peaked in May. This is September. Note how Black Knight says escalating declines in June and July have equity down over the past 2 months, suggesting a serious reduction is likely in Q3. That would be the first quarterly decline in 3 years. The most equity-rich West Coast markets are taking the biggest equity hits, with some markets losing 10 to 20% of their equity from April to July. It seems clear those markets that rose the fastest, flew the highest, are the first to show signs of a tumbling market. For those of you keeping track, San Jose lost 20%, Seattle 18%, San Diego 14%, San Francisco 14%, LA lost 10%. If you've been in your home for more than a couple of years, you're likely doing well. If you bought a few months ago at the apex of the housing market, this is not exciting in a positive way. Here's the main thrust of this video and the silent indicators I haven't heard anyone else talking about. The health of the housing market is measured in a lot of ways, but one in particular can be misleading, and this is what really got my attention. If we look back at home prices year over year, the July numbers would say your home gained 14% in value. Not as much as the year before, but still looking strong. But a lot can happen in a year, and here's what's happened month over month, and the numbers will tell you this. In January 22, prices rose 28 times faster than their normal rate. In February, prices rose only 5 times the normal rate. In May, prices rose only twice the normal rate. In June, prices came in 70% below the long-run average. This is how you can be headed for a train wreck and not even know it. Here's how Black Knight phrases it. Without timely, granular data, meaning month to month, market-moving trends don't become apparent until they're right in front of you, like a sudden shift to the largest decline in home prices in more than a decade. I'll leave the link to that article below for you. It's a good one. If someone gives you the year-over-year 14% number, that's an easy sell, and it's absolutely not the whole story. With the Feds raising rates to cool ongoing inflation, with buyers about to get hit with another rate hike, I'm guessing, with inventory up and new listings coming to market going down, plus we're headed into a traditionally slow holiday season, what do you think the August numbers are going to be like? Frankly, I tend to side with momentum, and I'm just not seeing anything recently that will be lifting home values. I really appreciate Black Knight and this report. They're just telling us the numbers and not sensationalizing anything. It's like, here's the numbers we see, now you decide what to do about them. If you like this video, please share it with others to help me spread the word. Please consider subscribing so you know when the next video drops. As always, thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon.